Okay, let's go ahead and solve this problem, and the problem has to deal with an ellipse. If you're taking an advanced math course like pre-calculus, this is definitely a problem that you should be able to do or you will be learning about. And the topic here has to deal with something called conic sections. So again, this is typically a topic within a course like pre-calculus. You're likely not going to see this in an Algebra 1 course, maybe in some Algebra 2 college algebra courses, definitely in a course like pre-calculus, excuse me. But anyways, I'm going to read the problem in a second, but this larger topic has to deal with conic sections. So imagine if we had a cone here, and if we slice the cone different ways, let's say this cone was sitting on a table. If we sliced the cone, like the top of the cone off parallel to the table, and we look down, what shape would we see? Well, it's kind of hard to see here, but you would see a circle. And if I chop this cone kind of sideways, I would get like an oval shape, and that is an ellipse. And then, of course, we can get things called hyperbolas and parabolas out of this thing, but that's for another video. But anyways, the larger topic here is conic sections. So again, if you're studying conic sections, you're likely in this particular level of mathematics like pre-calculus, which is pretty awesome. Anyways, let's go ahead and read the problem. Then I'm going to show you the answer. Then we're going to walk through step by step on how to do this. And one little kind of disclosure here. I'm not going to give a complete full lesson on this topic. Because it's just, really too much to kind of get into one video. So if you're not studying this, you might very well be lost. I'm going to suggest you check out my pre-calculus course if you really, really want to learn this stuff. But anyways, let's go ahead and read the problem. And it says, write an equation of the ellipse whose vertices are at -3, 0, 3, 0, and co-vertices are at 0, -2, and 0, 2. Also find the foci of the ellipse. So if you're not familiar with these terms, then I'm going to suggest that you can watch a video. Hopefully you stick around so you can learn something. But again, this video is really kind of designed to help those of you that are studying this topic right now. But anyways, I'm going to show you the correct answer in just one second, and then we're going to get into how to solve this problem. But first, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is John. I'm the founder of TC Math Academy. I'm also a middle and high school math teacher. I have been teaching mathematics for decades. It really is my true passion to help as many people as I possibly can learn mathematics. And I'm going to tell you right now, all of you could be successful in math, and I'm especially speaking to those of you that are having a tough time in mathematics. Maybe you were like really good in math, and now you're taking an advanced math course like pre-calculus, and things are getting kind of tough for you. Please don't quit. You could be successful as well. But what you need is great math instruction, right? You need math instruction that you actually understand. And the way I like to teach math is to explain things in easy to understand language so everyone can get this stuff without watering down what you need to know. So if you need help in your current math course or maybe some sort of test that has math on it that you're getting ready for, things like, let's say, the SAT, a teacher certification exam, a CLEP exam, something like that, or if you're homeschooling mathematics, check out my math help program. I'm going to leave a link to it in the description of this video. I literally have over 100 plus different math courses that span all these areas and much, much more. I'm also going to leave links to my math notes in the description as well. Most of you probably take average notes. Some of you might take great notes. Some of you might take no notes. If you want to be great at math, you definitely have to take notes. And at this level of math, you certainly should be taking excellent notes. And if this video helps you out, don't forget to like and subscribe, as that would definitely help me out. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this problem. We're going to write the equation of this ellipse. And what is an ellipse? Let's just kind of answer that question. We're talking about like an oval shape. That's a terrible oval, but you'll see a better ellipse here in a second. Okay, so we need to understand what the vertices are, co-vertices, and the foci. And let's go ahead and get into the solution right now. All right, so this is basically it. So here is our ellipse. Of course, it's the oval shape. And you can see our vertices, okay, are on the major axis, okay, which happens to be the x-axis. So here is our vertices, right? We said they were at 3, 0, -3, 0. I'm kind of squeezing in this if you have a hard time reading this. I'm trying to put a lot of information on this one page. So we have 3, 0, -3, 0, and then here our co-vertices are at 0, 2, and 0, -2. So this would be the graph of the ellipse. And the equation, I'll show you that in a second, but the foci are inside the ellipse and they're located at these coordinates, negative C0, C0. I'll show you those here in just one second. Here's the actual coordinates for this first foci, F1. That's negative square root of 5, 0. And then our second foci, F2, is square root of 5, 0. And here is the equation of this respective ellipse. Okay, so it's x squared over 3 squared, or x squared over 9, plus y squared over 2 squared, or y squared over 4 is equal to 1. Okay, so again, if you're like totally lost here because you're not studying this, well, that's just because you haven't learned it. You can certainly learn this stuff. You're going to need to really get a lot of instruction and kind of build your way up. So again, if you need help with this, if you're already kind of getting lost and you're like, okay, I'm already overwhelmed, check out my pre-calculus course. I have a complete full lessons and solved problems, just really detailed stuff on conic sections and much, much more. But if you happen to get this right, that's super impressive. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and give you a nice little happy face, an A++, a 120%, and multiple stars so you can show off to your friends and families that you know a lot about ellipses. Okay, so pretty cool stuff. Let's go ahead and get into the problem. All right, so here is the question again. We want to write an equation. Okay, of course, we just did that. Of this particular ellipse, and we're told that the vertices are again at negative 3, 0, 3, 0, and then these co-vertices are at these coordinates. So, you don't necessarily have to graph the ellipse because the question's not asking for the graph, but I'm throwing in the graph as well because that's important. You should graph the ellipse even with a question like this so you can kind of visually see what's going on. And we kind of see also the placement of these things where the vertices are at, co-vertices axis. We got minor axes and major axes, and focus or foci, okay, which is the plural of two focuses, or two focuses would be two foci, or foci is the plural of a focus. Okay, so sorry if you're a little bit confused about that, but anyways, so just based upon that information, okay, we can sketch out the basic ellipse, all right? So the vertices, okay, are always going to be on the major axis, all right? In this case, this is a horizontal orientated ellipse. So here's one vertice, 3, 0. Here's another one, negative 3, 0. And then our co-vertices are going to be on the other axis, which would be the minor axis, 0, 2, 0, negative 2. And then simply, we can just kind of sketch an ellipse like so. Now, in here are going to be our foci, right? So you have one focus here, and you have another focus here. So we need to find the equations or the coordinates of those points. But before we do that, we need to get the actual equation to this ellipse, okay? So just like, when I was talking about conic sections, there's different general equations. You need to know those general equations, and then you have to use the information in the specific problem, okay, so you understand the terms, to figure out the actual specific equation to the ellipse. So let's go ahead and do that right now. All right, so here again is our situation, and this is the equation you need to know, okay? So here is the kind of general equation for an ellipse. It's x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared is equal to 1, where a is greater than b, and a is going to always be on the major axis, okay? So in this particular situation, we saw that our coordinates, okay, on our the bigger coordinates were on the x-axis, okay? So a is greater than b, so this is why we're using this form of this equation. Let's go back over here. You can see that 3, okay, we have 3, 0. This is x is 3, and then negative 3, 0. This length here, 3, on the x-axis is greater than this length, 2, which is on the y-axis. So therefore, the x-axis is the major axis, okay? So, anyways, hopefully you're with me so far. And again, if you are just learning this for the first time, this is not I'm not trying to substitute what I'm talking about here as a full formal lesson on this stuff. Okay, there's just too much going on. Kind of again, this is kind of practice for those of you who are familiar with these terms. All right, so. Anyways, we need to write an equation in this form, x squared over a squared, which is pretty easy, right? So we know that this is 3, 0, this is negative 3, 0. So a is equal to 3. Okay, so we're literally going to put 3 squared right there. And then b is 2, right? So this point is 0, 2 or 0, negative 2. So that point is going to be 2 or 2 squared. So pretty simple stuff. Remember, again, A is greater than B. In other words, A is on the major axis, okay? That is the important point to remember because you can have ellipses that go in this shape, all right? On the y-axis is the major axis, but not in this case. All right, so all we have to do now is simply just like plug in this respective information into this equation, this general form. So a squared, again, is 3. So you can just write this as x squared over 3 squared right there, plus y squared over 2 squared, which again is b squared. Okay, right here, there's b, that is 2. And that's going to be equal to 1. And of course, this form is fine, or this form right here is fine as well. So x squared over 9, 3 squared is 9, plus y squared over 2 squared, which is 4, is equal to 1. Now, sometimes you're given equations of an ellipse, like in this form right here, and then you have to take the square roots of the a and b to figure out what the actual locations are, vertices and co-vertices are to graph it. So either form is fine. Hopefully, if you're taking a test or a quiz with your particular teacher in your particular class, make sure you understand how your teacher likes your final form, likes the final form of the answer. But basically, they are both equally correct. All right, so this is the equation of the ellipse. So now let's go back to the situation here. We have the equation, and here it is right here. So x squared over 3 squared plus y squared over 2 squared is equal to 1. So here is the graph. Now we need to find these points here, the foci, okay? Now, I'm not going to talk about the definition of an ellipse, okay, why the foci are important, but this is something that you need to know about, or we can get into a lot of the definitions you need to understand that are beyond the scope of this video. Again, check out like my pre-calculus course. I get into all this thoroughly, but you need to understand why these points are important, but we need to find these points. Okay, that's the focus of this particular problem. So these points, the foci, which they're on, always on the major axis, okay, are located at the points negative C0 and C0. Now, of course, we're asking ourselves, well, what is C? Well, let's go ahead and define that right now. All right, so again, the foci always lie on the major axis. So we have a nice, lovely equation here. It looks like the Pythagorean theorem, but c squared, right, is equal to a squared minus b squared. And what is a and b? Well, we already defined that. That comes from our equation, right? So a and b, remember this is a squared, that's 3 squared, and this is b squared. So that's where our a and b's come from. So we have to have the equation of the ellipse in order to find the foci. So we're literally just going to plug in this a and b and solve for c using this formula right here. C squared is equal to a squared minus b squared. So let's go ahead and just plug in all the information. So c squared is going to be equal to 3 squared, right, which is a squared, minus b squared, which of course is going to be 2 squared. So c squared is 9 minus 4 or 5, so c squared is equal to 5. So when we take the square root of both sides, we get c is equal to plus or minus 5. So remember, right here, these coordinates are negative c0 and positive c0. So we can just literally plug in each of those respective values for c right here, and you'll get this foci, or this focus right here, f1, at negative square root of 5, 0, and then the second one right here is square root of 5, 0. And these are our foci. Now, again, you need to know why these are important. It goes to the definition of an ellipse. This is a lot of stuff. I mean, conic sections, we're only talking about, an ellipse. We got parabolas, you have hyperbolas, You have circles and you got translations of all these different things. It's pretty heavy duty stuff. I mean, nothing that you can't learn, but definitely if you're at this level of mathematics, first of all, that's pretty awesome that you're at this level. But two, even for really, good students or strong math students, this can get kind of challenging for everybody. Okay, but the key here is to really truly understand all the concepts and do a vast array of problems. Just don't do basic problems, do more challenging problems if you truly want to be ready for all your exams, final exams, etc., etc. All right, so hopefully this little video helps you out. If that is the case, don't forget to like and subscribe. And with that being said, I definitely wish you all the best in your mathematics adventures. Thank you for your time and have a great day.